Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
And welcome to the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm actor Brandon Rush of the Buckle Up Podcast Universe. As I said, I've done 80 TV shows and movies, and I started this show April 9th of 2025 with my mother, who is a retired medical sales specialist in the pharmaceutical world. And we have done 140 episodes. We are in 78 countries and 900 cities around the world. We are very proud about that. And then what makes our show special is that we have people and guests from all around the world to hopefully educate the youth and for people to get the opportunity to tell their story about what they do. We've had people from all different walks of life. We've had doctors on here. We've had lawyers. We've had CEOs on here. We've had staffing companies. We've had my professors from college, University of South Carolina, on here. We've had my Catholic school teacher was on here as well. Small business owners, nurses, doctors, veterans, lawyers, actors, actresses, directors, producers, casting associates and directors who I've had the pleasure of working with in my acting business these last 16 years. If you think your story might resonate with us, feel free to DM me at Brandon Rush on Instagram. That's BRANDONRUSHH, two H's, or on our Buckle Up podcast handle, which is BUCKLEUPPODCAST handle. As I said, we've done 140 episodes, I believe, or 141 episodes. And today we're going to have a Broadway actress on here. Hopefully I say her name correctly, and I apologize if I say it incorrectly. Gerianne Perez. Gerianne Perez is a powerhouse performer known for soaring vocals and emotional depth and commanding stage presence. A proud New Yorker and Puerto Rican descent, she has performed on Broadway and in national tours. She made her Broadway debut in a cappella musical, In Transit, appeared in Waitress, and is currently standing by for the role of Montague, I think that's pronounced, in the U.S. premiere of the Operation Mincemeat. So she is a person who I think would be absolutely amazing. We haven't had a Broadway actress on here yet, so I'm very excited for her to be the first. So I'm going to pause it for right now and see if she has arrived yet. She was doing a self-tape, and she's been very busy. I know she was on call the other day. There's been a few times when she was going to come on, and she got called up to perform that day. So I appreciate her for being able to make time for us today. I know she has a busy schedule. Oh, here she goes right now. So let me pause it first. All right, let's see here. Admit all. Both your microphones are off, but you should be. Actually, microphone's on now.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Here, I'm gonna go
Do the
like
little turn
this
thingy.
and then this. Apparently, that'll fix it. I was just
Yes.
on a Zoom audition earlier, and then it did the exact same thing where it literally she was like, "You got to turn it and then turn it." I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
Okay,
you're good. I know all about that. I've had to do that
amazing
countless times because whenever you first like when you that's how you're supposed to have it, but like when no
for
matter what,
sure.
Zoom always has it like that every time.
I'm like, hello. Anyway, so I
Yeah.
might be a little topsy-turvy. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying a lapel today.
Yeah, you sound first off, you're gonna have to explain that lapel to me, but you sound you sound great. What does lapel mean?
Oh, just this little
Oh,
mic. Yes. Yes.
I'm a little
So,
bit
yeah.
slow.
Oh, you're all good. You're all good. I was just this little thing I'm trying out today for the first time. And then let me try
Okay.
and get you a little bit more
No, you're good.
even. There
You
we go.
sound perfect. Let me make sure I'm recording
Okay,
too.
amazing. Yeah, sometimes I'll use like my Yeti mic, but um I had like a leak in my apartment, so I had to sort of rearrange my room and put my desk
Yeah.
in a way that would have just like my bed in the background. I was like, that looks like shit. So I'm sitting on my couch comfortably.
Okay. Well,
Um,
yeah.
yes.
Well, first off, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, and I'm going to welcome you personally to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and
Mama Rush. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. You all have some bad weather there. Is that correct?
Oh, it's
Please
insane.
tell us about what's going on there.
It's insane. It's absolutely blizzarding. In all of my years working, I have not had a show cancellation until yesterday.
oh wow,
Um, it was actually the last show for our original Broadway cast, so it was sad
Mm-hmm.
that it got canceled.
oh wow,
But yeah, basically, it's like it's still, if I'm not mistaken, like still coming down a bit. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it, and
Wow.
it was also supposed to stop, I thought, at 12. Ooh, what that'll
yeah,
Uh-huh.
help is let me take these bad boys out.
yeah.
But yeah, it was supposed to stop, and then now it's like it's still coming down. And then when I opened like my like blinds this morning, there was
Mm-hmm.
something called like a wind gust where it could like the wind could make it scale buildings.
Yeah.
So when I looked out my windows, they were just completely encrusted with ice.
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
How
no,
many inches are you looking at right now?
um it's yeah, it's pretty coated and it's not melting because it's so chilly. I would give it at least a foot.
Holy smokes.
Is that? I don't know. I feel like I have no idea like what looks like a foot or not, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's at least a foot. Yeah.
I think that's the news. I was looking on Instagram. I get
Yeah,
my news from the Instagram, a lot of it anyway. Like just
absolutely.
what's going on around the world.
Yes. Yeah, no, honestly, me too. I'm gonna see if I can try to change the screen so can see y'all both at the same
Okay.
time.
Well,
Okay,
you
my
won't be
mom
able to
uses her
see me.
photo. Yeah, my
You'll
mom
see
uses her
my
photo.
photo.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, great, we're good then.
Well, hey, look, it's
Yeah.
all about you today. I am so excited to finally get you. I know that you have been very busy, and I can't thank you enough for making the time because last time I think you got called up for a show that day.
Yeah, probably. It's always like last minute being an understudy. It's like your schedule is consistently changing. So I'll book myself like weeks out in advance of doctor's appointments and things like this. And then it's like, hey, nope, like drop everything you had that day, like you're coming in.
Really?
So yes, yeah. Thank you so much for having me and thank you for adjusting schedule stuff.
Oh,
Oh, no
of course. I'm gonna
problem.
get back into that because I'm very interested in that. But I'm gonna
Sure.
Dream is that did I pronounce that correct? Is it Dream Perez?
Gerianne.
Oh man,
Darian.
I
Yeah,
butchered it. I'm so
Darian.
sorry the first
It's
time.
totally okay. I've been called Germaine, Germanium, all things. So Jerry Ann, and you're
Darian.
good to go.
Okay. Do they
Okay,
Yeah.
call you
Jerry Ann.
Jerry? Do they call you Jerry for short, or it's always think of your?
Yeah, yeah, I've been called Jerry.
We
Yeah,
might have to stick with Jerry today if that's okay.
that's okay. That's okay. If that makes
All
it
right.
easier, like, and makes your brain be able to like turn off, please do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds good. Well,
yeah.
Jerry Ann, we have I gave a pre-bio, but I want to hear it first from you. How did you?
Mhm.
Let's hear your story, and it's all about you. So this is your time.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I am currently an understudy in Broadway's Operation Mincemeat right now, and I have been doing theater since I was in middle school. Like, I got caught by the bug when I was like 13. I did like this like middle school musical. It was Oliver, and I just like from the moment I heard my voice on a stage, I was like, oh, I don't think anything will feel more euphoric than
Oh
this
wow.
feeling
Mm.
right now. And hearing an audience there's just something that I love so much about live performance.
Yeah.
Then I always tell people that like once I got to high school, I was a really very academic student.
Okay.
I was a very high achieving person because I come from a military family, and
Nice.
that's a strict upbringing. It's high grade, point average, or you don't get to play and have your extracurriculars.
Yeah.
So basically, I had to kind of achieve both. But I was in show choir, and that was around the time high school was when I was really deciding, hey, do I want to go into something that might be more sustainable, more
Hmm.
consistent, or do I want to follow a dream and take a huge risk?
Okay.
Now, I am a Virgo and I'm not a big risk taker, but I think that
Okay.
I knew I would regret not going into this. So by my senior year, I decided to apply to just a couple of schools. We didn't have a lot of money for the application fees, so I had to be very selective with where I
Yeah.
applied. And I applied to NYU, and that was my dream college, and that was
Okay.
actually where I ended up going. I got a BFA in drama from Tisch, and then it took me a little bit for me to find my footing right out of college. I did like a regional gig here and there and some small
Mhm.
things here and there. But in order to have something that could pay my bills, I had to wait about 3 years. So I worked as an administrative aide
Okay.
at NYU. And
Okay. Oh
then
wow.
in 2016, there was this a cappella musical that was in the works that was coming to Broadway. And that's happens to be one of my very unique niche skill sets is like choral a cappella, that world. And I
Okay.
was like, agents, hey, you know what? I got to get seen for it. And then I booked in transit. And then I did the Waitress National Tour. Then I did it on Broadway after the pandemic. Then I went on tour with Six and I was Captain of Aragon. And then I came back to New York, found my footing here again, and then
Mhm.
booked Operation Mincemeat. And now the rest is history.
Wow. Okay. Well, first off,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations on that.
It's so funny because like again, like I'm always like, there's more I could be doing, there's more I could be achieving, there's more. And then if I state my bio, I'm like, well, that's a pretty cool bio. Like if somebody
Yeah.
else had said that to me, I would be like, yeah, you've been like kicking ass and you've been like working
Yeah.
and doing as best you can. So it's kind of nice to look at it and be like, oh, you've done some work and you've done some cool stuff and you should be proud.
Oh,
Very, I mean,
great.
to order for you to be like you've done a lot here, that just for the fact that you've been on multiple plays, but to be on Broadway in itself is a journey. I work in the TV and movie side of things, and being on that,
Mhm.
it's impossible too. So for what you're
Mhm.
doing though is a whole entire different level of tough. What
Sure.
was that process like for you? How did you one keep yourself encouraged during those times?
Mhm.
Because I know it's tough personally, but our audience might not
Totally.
know that how tough that is.
Yeah.
What's that process like? If you wouldn't mind explaining to the audience.
Yeah. I mean, if I think about before I booked Broadway or before I booked something that could pay my bills, right? Like
Yeah,
everything is always just about, can I pay my bills? Can I put a roof over my head?
yeah,
Because that's when I think you've made it into a semblance of a career. Before then, it's like, well, how do I make my living, literally?
hmm
So I think before then, I just was working so hard. I was taking classes as much as I could afford to meet casting directors, and I was young and I felt pretty scrappy at that time. So I think I think although it took me a good few years to book my first real big job,
yeah,
I was like, it's just a matter of time and it's just a matter of the right job coming across my table. And
yeah,
isn't that always how it is, right? Is
yeah.
it's just
It is.
like it can take as long as it takes for the right job to
Yeah,
come across you. And then you're like, oh, okay, this was the thing that like was never going to pass me by. What's mine is mine, right? And
amen.
so, but I have to say that after I finished Six, which is about 8 to 10 years later after I booked my Broadway debut, that was a time where we were in the land of we're not really doing a ton of auditions in person anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that was, I think after the pandemic, it really transitioned for me to being harder to book because people by tape are not getting to know you as a person. They're not getting to know your energy in a room. And I
Mhm.
always used to say that I felt like I could book a room.
Yeah.
And even if I wasn't right for a role, I had a nice rapport with the people in the room and they would bring me in for other things. But
Hmm.
after the pandemic, once we switched to everybody being on tape, nobody's seeing each other in person, and we're behind these screens. So, how
Yeah.
honestly and real are we connecting?
Yeah.
Then it became a little bit harder for me to kind of break through. And I'd be doing these tapes that my reps were proud of, and I was proud of, and just were hearing crickets. And I
Yeah.
know I am not the only actor in whatever field, theater or TV and film,
Yeah.
that felt like it was like you were putting things out into the world and just hearing nothing back. And it's
Yeah.
like if you're delivering your artistry, but it's to a chasm and you have no feedback, how do you keep going, right? And
Yeah.
so I think that for me, what has been helpful is the universe has always taken care of me. So at every moment where I wanted to step away, where I was like, maybe I should go back to school, maybe I should be a coach, a teacher, maybe there's something else I could do. The universe was like, no, 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 I'm so sorry. This is where you're supposed to be. So, for
Yeah.
example, the universe took care of me because about 6 months after six and nothing was really hitting for me, I was like, I don't know, maybe there's something else I should go into, use my skill sets for other things.
Mhm.
And then this audition came across my lap, and I was like, well, this is so different from anything I've ever done. But one thing I do love to do is push myself and try new things,
Yeah.
especially if it's in the world of creativity. And I went in for those auditions, and it was the bravest I had ever been. And when I booked it, my manager said, "We truly believe that you're about to be a different actor once you are done with mincemeat than
Okay.
beforehand." And I do truly believe that. Like,
Yeah.
so, but I don't know that I really answered your question, but I think that it's a lot of taking exquisite care of yourself when you are down in the dumps, when you are, should I be doing this? Seek support and love from those
Mhm.
that care about you, that
Yeah.
know if this is your internal calling, then yeah,
Absolutely.
keep on pursuing it.
Mhm.
And just being kind to yourself, saying good things. It's really easy, I think, for us as artists to be like, there must be something wrong with me. And sooner or later you will start to believe that if that's
Yeah.
your loop. So I think it's also reframing your narrative and reminding yourself that you're here to do something and
Mhm.
it's special, and
Oh,
this
great.
stuff will
Thank
this stuff
you.
will happen as it needs
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
well,
Yeah.
I want to skip a little bit to your roots, okay?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Um, growing up in New York, you've grown up in New York, teach you about grit, confidence, and showing up in a room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I Yeah,
mhm.
you first.
Okay. No, go right ahead. I wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I feel like a New Yorker now, but I am actually an army brat. So I moved a lot. I lived in Florida, I lived in Massachusetts, Georgia, Texas, and Washington.
Mhm.
And then came to New York, and now New York really feels like my home. Like I would say I'm from Queens now.
Oh, what part?
And Sunnyside.
Okay, nice. I lived in
Yes.
Astoria.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Astoria is probably where I will move to eventually because
It's
there's a
my
bit more
favorite.
real estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so great. It's so good. It's so diverse, and it's just good people out here. And I just don't feel like it's very gentrified. So I just feel like I'm still getting a New York experience.
Absolutely.
But what I will say is that upbringing. I had a up until I was like 9, and my parents got married. I had a single mom. So in terms of grit, right, and resilience, if we're going to talk about that, what I
Mhm.
witnessed was the most amount of grit from my mom, who
Mhm.
had to work 3 jobs.
Mhm.
She had to put food on the table for her 3 children.
Mhm.
Back then there wasn't much following up on like child support and making sure those things were getting sent over and getting paid. So I feel like I at such a young age I watched a woman have the best work ethic humanly possible. And to know that she was dealing with so much, and yet if I remember her in my childlike memories, she was so wonderful. You know what I mean? Like with all the stress that she managed and all of the anxiety she must have had about, will I feed my children? Will I be able to keep the lights on? Will we make rent this month? All of that stuff made it so that I feel like I brought all of that into the person that I am today.
Uh-huh.
And you know, again, at those times when I want to give up, a lot of times my mom is like, well, you've just put so much into this. Like, yeah, it would be easier for you to go into something else, but you are gifted at what you do. And you make an impact for whomever sees you, whether it's on a small scale on my screen, you know, on my Instagram, or it's on a big scale and it's thousands of people in a theater. It's like having impact is what matters. And so, yeah, I just feel like I witnessed that from her at a young age, and so I'm able to kind of bring that into my adulthood. And then as I teach with my students, I do also try to teach them like, hey, this is a really hard thing you're going into. And also, if there's nothing else you could do that would bring you as
Mm-hmm.
much joy or make it easy for you to wake up every morning and look forward to going to work,
Yeah.
then go and do something else. But if you know this is the only thing that's going to fill your cup every single day, whether it's
Uh-huh.
you're doing 3 auditions in one day or you're going into your show, then go into this because it's
Wow.
your calling.
Uh-huh.
And you know, it's we just got to answer those callings.
That's so
Absolutely.
beautiful. That is
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Go ahead, Mel.
Well, I wanted to ask a question about you're Puerto
Mhm.
Rican, is that
I am.
correct? And that
Yes, I
shaped
am.
the way you, well, does that shape the way you tell stories and connect emotionally on stage?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I don't always, I have to be honest, you know, I am half Puerto Rican, but I am also relatively white passing. So sometimes I kind of forget until people remind me, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you are a visible representation of your community. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have, the role that I cover most prominently in Operation Mincemeat is the lead of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I've received a lot of really, and the same thing happened at Six. That was also a really cool queen, and I got a lot of messages of people saying it means so much to me to see my color represented on stage in a leading role. You are
Yeah.
not the sexy side featured
Mm-hmm.
girl. You are not the object of some man's affections. You are the lead of the show. You are the train conductor of the show. You are the thing we are following the whole time. And it matters to see your color, your curly hair texture,
Mm-hmm.
your moves, you know,
Every
like sometimes,
step.
you know, it's like sometimes I forget like we move in a certain way, right? And
Yeah.
then but people will be like, no, like the way you do those hip thrusts does not look the same way on other folks. And so like sometimes I forget, right? I
Yeah.
just I'm doing the choreography or I'm doing the moves to the best of my ability, but sometimes I forget like we move a certain way. And and it represents something. It represents
It
something
really
to
does.
people in the audience who see themselves on stage or on screen,
Absolutely.
and it matters. It's sometimes I forget about it, and then every once in a while I'll just get a really kind letter or DM saying like, "Thank you for what you represent," and also your body. Like in Six, we my costume design was based on Beyonce or J Lo, Shakira, who
Mm-hmm.
wear these
Beautiful.
fabulous
Yes.
like high cut kind of leotards with your
Mm-hmm.
legs fully exposed.
Yeah.
And they were like, it went so much to me to see like thighs on stage, like these like Latin thighs, like this like, you know, like the you've got a booty, and it's just like they were like it meant so much to see that figure on a theatrical stage, you know what I mean? And so it just it means a lot. Sometimes I do forget, and
Yeah.
and a lot of times I get reminded how much it matters and how I do represent a community of people. Yeah.
Well,
Amen.
you
Yeah.
just said something so powerful there. And I've heard a lot of talk about this. And you mentioned a word that to describe passing. And
Mhm.
that has been something that I've heard in the community of people of color. And especially
Sure.
if your hue is white, but you might be let's just say 1/16 Black, then you are considered a Black person. And
Sure.
sometimes in the community, it's mentioned as passing as. And when I heard you say passing as, how does that impact you in situations when you have to clearly define, wait a minute, let me just tell you, I am Puerto Rican, and just show up? I know you might be half, but that's a thing that we people of color deal with all the time, as to that communication to others, and then being in the room with others, and they might have a conversation that hits the wrong way. How do you feel when you're talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for the most part, the people that I've worked with, and especially after the pandemic, I think we all had to broaden our vocabulary. I think we
Mm-hmm.
all had to broaden our knowledge of the way that we speak about things, the way that we
Correct.
interact, the way that
Mm-hmm.
we put hands on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, and I think that it I use the white passing comment for myself oftentimes as a way to acknowledge my color privilege.
Mhm.
And so it's my way of acknowledging that if there was somebody that basically I could go in for a role that said Caucasian. Do I ever? Actually, no, not really. Nearly everything I go in for is usually somebody who is of Latin descent. And But I think that if I think a little bit more back in terms of like earlier on, maybe pre-pandemic, I mean, the stuff people would just say was just crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like some of my what's really interesting that can speak to this, to
Mm-hmm.
speak to the white passing of it all, is in college, not a lot of my professors knew that I was Latinx. And
Mm-hmm.
so when they found out, all of a sudden I'm getting scenes from West Side Story and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, we should really play up your diversity and this, and
Mm-hmm.
that. And it all of a sudden became this like this coin to play that could make you maybe more competitive.
Yeah.
And isn't it just so interesting that maybe 10, 15 years prior,
Mm-hmm.
there were some people who were told, "Hey, try to be more white passing because
Yeah.
then you'll be more competitive."
Yeah.
So it's just like as our industry is ever evolving, it's interesting to look at all of this and just be like, what is this landscape? What do I have a right to play?
Yeah.
There's
Mm-hmm.
also, another addendum that I will say that's very interesting is I also get the thing of not being Latin enough. I was not raised to speak Spanish because when my mother came here from Puerto Rico, she experienced so much prejudice
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh,
she
wow.
didn't want anybody to believe that her children were, people of color. So
Yes.
we were raised, even though she had this beautiful accent, we
Yeah.
had a
Mm-hmm.
last name that was legally Perkins. And so, for me, for example, a lot of people did not know I was Latin. And so I did not learn Spanish. But now, as a professional,
Yeah.
I get a situation where I'll be going in for casting directors who are oftentimes white. And they'll say, "Well, what do you mean you aren't fluent in Spanish?" Well, then you're not eligible for this role. You're not right for this role. And
Oh.
so it's interesting because it's like, well,
Yeah.
now I'm having somebody decide the
Mm-hmm.
validity and the scale to which I can claim
Yeah.
being Latin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very every single culture, race, etc. I have seen have a very
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
vast array and experience with all of this stuff, especially as it relates to race and what we are allowed to portray and what we can't portray, what is respectful, what is not. And so it's just an ever-changing dialogue, and I'm consistently and most oftentimes just kind of sitting back and trying to listen and educate
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
myself as much as possible.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
sounds great. Well,
yeah.
you
Well,
get to have that authentic personality,
Say
and
that last part again.
that authentic, your authentic
Mhm,
person. You
mhm,
represent in the theater, and you look
mhm,
like you look like to you right now. And what do you want
mhm,
others to look at next? So, when you're thinking about that, you're in the theater. You are you. You are real. And how do you portray to others, I am a real person? I'm a real singer. I'm a real artist. And how does that look like for you in front of people who are interviewing you and that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. It's me and my authenticity, right?
Uh,
Like, it's not me trying to be anything that somebody might want me to be. It's truly, and it's also not me trying to be somebody else, right?
mhm,
Like the best thing that I can do for anybody watching in the audience, but also to honor whatever work I am on, whatever
mhm,
show
mhm,
or etc., is to be the person that I brought into the room when I auditioned. And
mhm,
and and that person didn't have any ideas of what things were supposed to be. All I could do was just be raw, be
mhm,
myself,
Yeah.
feel free to make mistakes,
uh-huh,
not try to be perfect.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, those people across the table get to decide whether I'm the right fit. So once they decide I'm the right fit, then it's on. Then it's just me, and it's me going at my 110%. I leave the stage exhausted. I am sweating. I can
uh-huh,
barely walk the next day because my feet hurt so much.
Oh, wow.
mhm,
It's not it is me at my 110%. It is me
mhm,
knowing that there are small things about my portrayal that are
mhm,
unique
Yeah.
and special, and all of those colors that I show with that performance,
mhm,
somebody in the audience sees that one small thing. Like, I was just looking, there's we have a really lovely fan base at Operation Mincemeat, and they made me an entire book of I'll just grab it real
Yeah,
quick.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
okay.
they made me this book that is they cut and paste like
Uh-huh,
a bunch of things, and one of the fans pulled together just a bunch of different things that
Oh,
people had
wow.
said. Either it was comments, or it was Instagram DMs, or it was things that were just shared in their private Discord. It was like handwritten notes. It was
okay.
like pictures of me at the stage door. This was, oh, I don't know if you can see it super
We can
well.
see.
This was a debut, and because they all knew about it, 30 people came that night to a debut of mine,
Oh,
and
wow.
they made shirts that said Jerry's Angels.
Oh, nice.
And with my face on it and
Yeah.
everything, and they're so kind, and the thing that's beautiful is that they are like, we have also, that's what's really beautiful is it's quite a diverse fandom.
Yeah.
It's also very gender diverse. It's queer is throughout it. It's diverse in so many different beautiful
Yeah.
ways, and they see all of those things in me, and I connect with them so much. So this book is like all of these tiny things that they've picked up in my performance, that they've been like, I like how you do that thing. I like how you do that thing. And it's like, I didn't even think that the smallest nuances anybody could pick up on, but they do. They do.
Yeah.
And to a very long-winded way of answering your question of just like, it
Oh,
is just me being my most authentic self, and somehow people see it and they acknowledge it.
oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jerianne, I wanted to just to correctly, Jerianne, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Perfect,
Jerry.
perfect.
Okay.
I wanted to hit on. There's a couple things you said that I'm going to go back to, but I wanted to say first. I always say that kids are always watching. And when you mentioned the
Mm.
story about you seeing what your mom went through, I had to mention my dad's passed away of pancreatic cancer. I want to mention him first before I get to my mom, but it's both of them. I watched them struggle and work hard to provide for me and my brother, to keep the lights on, even when the lights went off. They didn't. It seemed like that. There's a scene in the movie with Will Smith where he's son's Pursuit of Happiness, where he's in the. I
Mm.
cry every time because it reminded me of my dad when
Yeah.
he's in the bathroom holding the in the subway. But
Yeah.
seeing how hard my parents worked, and when you talked about not giving up, I'm gonna relate these two things.
Yeah.
One, my dad. I played football and I was ready to quit after the first week because I was this fat kid and it was too tough. And my dad said, I won't allow you
Mm.
to quit. And
Mm.
I've never been a quitter since that in my lifetime because I didn't quit. Because of that, that instilled in me at 15 the work ethic to not ever quit and not ever give up. And then also seeing what my dad did with how hard he worked to provide for his family. On the other end,
Mm.
relating to football, I would go to sleep. My mom, who's a pharmaceutical sales rep at the time, would be studying, start studying late at nighttime, maybe around like 9 or 10 or so. I would go to bed, and by the time I woke up the next morning, she would still be in there studying her lesson and doing that work. She still does that kind of stuff to this day.
For
I
sure.
saw that, and I'm like, I can't, as my with the man that God's built me, how I look, and then how I am as a person. I have to go all out, because look at the sacrifices my family made for me. Why can't I? I did. If God built me this way, then I put myself through hell.
For
But I'm
sure.
able to handle it, though, because I
Hmm.
saw what they were able to do. So it's nothing for me. Giving up's not my nature. That's the first
Yeah.
part I wanted to say about that. I think, oh my gosh, I actually just lost the second part of what I was going to say. Oh, about being in the room.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been very blessed. I started my career off in Los Angeles. I've been acting for 16 years. Started my career off in Los Angeles, and then 8 years ago went to New York and started. I've been acting in New York for the last 8 years, but I've acted all around the United States and Mexico, now London too. With that being said, going and meeting those people in the room first, that's actually how I made a name for myself in California or Los Angeles, and how I made a name for myself in New York. They saw me performing in classes or at open mic nights, and they called me in directly from those. And so
Hmm.
doing those experiences of being in the room, I loved it at the time, and I was able to, they got to see me perform the large scale,
Hmm.
but being in the room with them at the time was great, because I got to get that rapport with them for years. So now self tapes,
Absolutely.
I'm actually okay with self tapes, because I book a lot of self tapes,
Hmm.
because I'm so used. I kind of know exactly what they're looking for, but I also know
Hmm.
that they know me personally as a person. And so,
Yeah.
because I've done those rounds, so I understand what you're saying, like how
Yeah.
you're really good in the room sometimes, and that feeling of not missing being in the room. So I think that's what I had to say along those lines about that.
For sure.
Second question I wanted to ask you was this:
Yeah.
how do you go about memorizing your lines like that? What is that
Ah,
process? I actually don't know that process on the
sure.
theater side of things.
Yeah, like well, so I'm a cover, so I cover actually three of the women principals in our show.
Okay.
And the person that again is my most prominent cover, I like to say he talks for, and also by the way, it's a gender bent role. I play
Okay.
a man for the show, which is really, really
Oh,
fun.
nice.
I've never I went from playing a six queen where I was like in this like badass, beautiful Beyonce build of a costume to then like being a man in trousers. So it's like
Yeah.
it was so fun to like completely flip the coin and go from playing extreme beautiful femininity and then now this like finding masculinity, which I had never done before. So it's been wonderful. But Monty, this guy, he talks a mile a minute and he talks for two
Oh,
and a
wow.
half hours straight. He does not stop. So specifically, I will say for him, what helped me was I had to do two things. It comes down to knowing the exact kind of learner you are, right?
Yeah.
There will be people who need to record the lines and then just listen to those lines as they clean, walk around their house.
Yeah.
I learn by doing and by getting my mouth around the words and all that stuff. So what would help me most is to really look at the script just over and over and over again, almost so that it could be kind of a picture in my mind and
Yeah.
I could imagine the pages kind of going by as I was saying the lines. And then the other thing that I still do to this day, could not be without it, is I have a voice memo folder for each of the roles that I cover, and I
Mm.
have in those folders scenes that I've recorded where I record the other people's lines and then a gap where I will speak. I'm sure you've done this
I
or
do.
heard of
That's
it.
kind of my favorite tapes. Yeah.
Yes, and then I will say my lines in between. I will do that on the train. I will do that just at the theater. If say like I need to remind myself, "Hey, what's this other role that I haven't gone on for, haven't rehearsed in a minute? Let me do a line through during the first act of the show in the other
Yeah.
dressing room." And basically it's that. And then a lot of people find it hard to memorize before they are able to block the scene. But I find that you kind of sort of need to know some of the lines before you
See.
go into that dress rehearsal or before you go in,
Yeah.
because it's you can't be memorizing on the spot.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's just basically. And then as I do the scenes and those get blocked, then those start to live in my body and it's
Uh
fine. And then now it's at the point where I've done it for so much that I can be doing my makeup, I can be, hearing things going on outside with our wardrobe, and I can just be by rote doing the lines because they're so in
Yeah.
my body. But
Okay.
those are sort of my two ways. Yeah.
Well, thank you
That's
for sharing that. I was always
Sure.
curious about that because, like, I mean, I that's why I give theater actors the absolute credit because having all that dialogue stored and doing it for the duration of you all doing it, because obviously when I'm on set, we have breaks in between, so you have time to
Sure.
you have. Let me pull out this. All right, cool. In case it happens.
Well, that's the thing. Like I haven't been on set much, but I did do a guest star on Law and Order,
Oh heck yeah!
and
Congrats.
I remember like I had memorized in my trailer that morning, but it and that's the way that my brain worked was, hey, I'm gonna have all of these three scenes because I
Yeah.
had like there were these three separate pieces of the
mhm,
my portion. Um, that I had to memorize, right? But my two co-stars, they truly were looking at sides like in between our breaks. The thing that was crazy was I felt like they could look at the script and then they're like, okay, roll. And it's just, I couldn't do that. Like
Happen to them.
that is crazy. And
Yeah.
I think that is such a gift to be able to look at something once and then be like,
uh-huh,
let's roll it
Yeah.
because I need to, again, repetition is my friend.
Yeah.
I have
mhm,
to have done it multiple times.
Really.
And so, yeah, yeah.
You know what's funny? I guess I've been doing it. I've been very blessed to be doing it for so long that I'm
Mm,
able to look at it and do that too. When it
that's
comes to
crazy.
like self, when I don't do that on the day of actually filming on set, but when it comes to self tapes, I think it might take me 2 minutes. I'll just literally look through it and I'm actually ready to go and film it. And that's
Yeah.
I don't do multiple takes. And then the second part you mentioned,
Mm.
it's funny you mentioned the voice memo because I haven't told many people this. I don't use a reader anymore. I haven't used a reader in 6 years. I literally do the
Mm.
dialogue of both characters. So when I have my self tapes, so I
Yeah.
literally put the pause in there. And I will do my dialogue, and that's how I've been doing
Sure.
all my auditions. And I don't think I can go back to the normal way.
Yeah, I tried it that way during the pandemic when it was really hard to lock down readers or and all
Yeah,
that stuff. And what I found was really hard about that was that it was hard to breathe, right? Because I was like, oh, well, what if I breathe as in like, oh, I say this line, but if I don't say it quick enough, I'm gonna get cut off by the voice memo.
yeah.
That's what would
Okay.
sometimes get me.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I can tell
but
you the
I
secret
definitely
that I
tried it.
do. Yeah,
What's
you
that?
know, here's what I do. I'll give the tip out there. I always do this so I know when the line's coming. I do, and
Oh,
so I make that noise that you hear, like the, and I know that that line's coming up. I do that for every single time, and it doesn't pick up. So I know that when I play that, when I make that, it's time for me to. It's going to come up. So I put the gap
it's
in there, and I'll make
about to.
yeah, and
wow,
I will
Oh,
do it, and it's
wow.
worked out
that's
flawlessly. So that's a
That's
tip.
so
I'm telling you, it works.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so cool. So it's basically you'll do like a catch breath we call in musical theater, and then
okay.
you'll go into that line.
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
perfect. It works every single time. So like I'll do that, and I'm okay. Their line's about to come up, so I know I got to go, and then I'm good.
That's
Well,
so cool. The things that we come up with as
it is good,
actors.
Brandon. I'm
Yeah.
learning something too here.
Oh yeah, it's I was really blessed that I was flying around the country filming, so I never had someone to self tape with in the hotels. And then when my dad got sick, because I was his caretaker for the months when he was battling pancreatic cancer, he couldn't help me out with my auditions anymore, so I had to get used to doing it myself. So that process I was able to learn. But yeah, that's definitely a tip. I think it works for me.
That's
I
so
always give it a
cool.
shot. Yeah,
I'll have to try it.
And
definitely, definitely.
ask both of you all this question because Brandon, I hear you, and the thing that amazes me the most about him, Jerry, is how he can memorize these pages, just looking at them, memorize them so quickly, say them, and then erase that from his brain. Do
Yeah.
you, and knowing you memorizing parts like this, how do
Mhm.
you all both be able to erase this so quickly and you go on to another show and you know at that time I can't have those lines mixed up? So how do you do that process?
Yeah.
And Brandon, you tell me how you do that process as well. I'll
Okay.
share with our audience really.
After you, Jerry.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, no, I have to think. I think that my brain just knows that once a show is closed or my contract is done, it's allowed to release that. But I
Oh,
have thought long and hard about whether I could go back into six. And
uh-huh,
I do think there's an aspect of muscle memory that would kick
Yeah.
in that even almost 2 years later,
uh-huh.
if I had to try to remember it, I do think I could. Same thing with waitress. Like, I do think that because I worked those lines
Mhm.
so much and went on for them and did them under adrenaline, somehow they would come back. I actually do. And then I think there would be these huge gaps where I was like, I have no idea what I said there. But I think there's something to
Uh-huh.
the brain is so fascinating, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
not as if it has a capacity for knowledge. And these lines and these things that we have to memorize are just knowledge, right? These are bits of information that we can hold on to or we can release if we don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just basically like if it does release the information, it's because it has to. It doesn't want
Yeah.
to. It's like I don't want to hold on to this. Like I just finished I had an audition this morning on Zoom, and then I just did a self tape, and I am like I don't have to worry about those lines. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Anymore. I have this superstitious thing where I try to not immediately after an audition throw out the sides.
Okay.
So I'll like save them for a little bit. I'll like tuck them away somewhere so I don't see them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to basically subconsciously say to the world, well, I didn't book that, so it's in the trash. I'll never
Okay.
need those lines again, so it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the brain does it because it needs to, but I don't know. What about you, Brandon?
For me, I think it's. I wasn't always like that because before auditions would come every once, and I might get one every 3 months. But now that auditions are coming so much, I'm able to. I let it go now. I'm finally able to let it go. Before it was like, hey, I don't know when this next audition is going to come in, but I've been very blessed for working so long that now it's like, hey, I know when I do this audition, and I know that I've given my best work, I can let it go. Where before, when I first started out, I'm like, oh God, I need this. I really need this. My thing is just like you said, I'm just trying to book the room, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I
For
said
sure.
this when I was performing in London the month of September, and I was performing live. I did a showcase over there, and one of the casting directors asked me, Brandon, whenever you go in and perform, how do you usually perform? I say, well, I do it one way, my way. And then because I want to just show what I can do, and then I do it exactly how they want it to be done. Like I do it by the book. And I told her, like, my goal with doing that is I know that if 10 actors going for the role, I'm gonna be 9 of them are gonna do it that same way. They're gonna just be by the book. I'm gonna be that one that you remember because I'm taking that risk that stands out. And I'm
For
okay
sure.
not booking the role. And
Yeah.
they actually loved it. We had guests on that were in those showcases and saw that. And that's just kind of what I do. So I think it's in being in tune with who I am and okay with being like, hey, it's okay not getting this. But as you said earlier, if that casting director remembers you for something else,
Totally.
hey, that's and they most likely often do because of the booking process is really hard in TV level. I don't know how it is on the theater level of things.
It is every level, but I think that it's we are in such a saturated market for like whatever we want to do as actors in whatever field.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if you've seen any videos of like the pretty much they get called like sometimes cattle calls
Hmm.
for like ECCs and it's just because people are looking to book like their summer contract, their summer job. I will never forget. I was in my final callback. I was in a waiting room, right? And the waiting room was completely empty, but it was booked for the holding room for the show I was going in for.
Okay.
And I went out and saw in the hallway all of these actors with these numbers on them. It
Oh
was like
wow.
old school, right? I call that old school.
Yeah.
And that is chorus line. And they're all like sitting on the floor and lining the hallways waiting for their audition. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is there not a more kind way that people can be handled as they wait to audition to book a job? Like I remember seeing that and being like, go be in that empty holding room. Like don't sit on the floor. There are chairs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all this to say, and it's
Oh,
it's a saturated market wherever we are in whatever field it is.
Yeah. It's sorry, mom, you about
Go
to say
ahead,
something?
Brandon. Go ahead.
It's interesting. So there was a big difference between auditioning in Los Angeles and auditioning in New York, where when they used to be in person is what I'll say. When it comes to TV and film, what was specifically what I'm talking about. When I used to go out for auditions in Los Angeles when they were in person, it was like you said, they would actually call in like 30 people or so for roles, for one role each time. So you'd be seeing uh, not so much people to look like you, but close enough in the range. And
Yeah.
I was very blessed to where it was, I guess, went out for a lot of things that had a mixture of people. So it was very
Sure.
diverse when I went out for stuff. When I went to New York, I love the difference in that. New York was really serious about because I played Officer Danoon on Blue Bloods for 5 years in New York City.
Mhm.
They were specific about if you with Blue Bloods, you had to do the initial audition, but they only called in like 10 people. They would call
Mhm.
in 10 people that they thought were right for the role. And then after that, you had to do a callback producer section in Brooklyn. The original initial one was Manhattan, but the Brooklyn one was in for the callback. And there it was narrowed down to like 3 people or maybe 5.
Sure.
But I love that New York was very specific about, hey, we're only calling in these 10 actors because, and they knew these 10 actors are the ones that can do this job, and then narrowing it down to that 5. So I always thought that that was something that I really appreciated.
Yeah, I think it's mixed, right? Like
Yeah.
that is so cool and I love that. And also, if you are always calling in the same 10 people, it's
Yeah.
like, well, why are you calling them in? Is it because their resume already speaks for them? Is it because they
Yeah.
already have footage on tape? And so, additionally, what I will also say is sometimes when it is that large
Mhm.
call, it's like, well, then you have the opportunity to find some raw, fresh talent that ain't got shit on their resume, but you might see, hey, oh, actually, no, that's it. That's what
Yeah.
we've been looking for. So it's mixed. It's
Yeah.
truly like it's either one. So like I see merit in these huge calls that I'll see
Yeah.
at like Pearl Studios, for example. And I'm like, I hope somebody books it who like is fresh from college
Yeah.
or doesn't have an agent just yet.
Yeah.
Because if it's always the same, I have this issue with Broadway. If it's always the same small pool of people who just
Yeah.
consistently book jobs, and then they're or they get the Tony nominations or the Tony wins, and then they're the ones that develop the new musicals, and then they take those new musicals to Broadway, and then it's always the same people,
Yeah.
and you're
No, you're
never
right.
seeing different faces. So
Amen.
it all matters that everybody gets seen as best we can.
I honestly fully agree with you. Like that's how honestly, that is how I made my way. The reason I got narrowed down to that such a group was because I got saw on the bigger call. Actually, I
Exactly.
wasn't
Yeah.
initially getting called in LA. I did showcases in LA. Casting directors were like, okay, who's your agent? Because they saw me performing casting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have one. And they literally said, and I thank
Sure.
God for them, we're calling you in directly. And so I got
Very
called
cool.
in directly from that, and that's how showcase has been how I made my career personally.
That's
And it's
awesome.
I wasn't part of that small pool. I was part of the this is a random person out there we didn't know about, and from there going through. So that's
Yeah,
what
but
worked
but
for me.
not
So
being
I'm lucky.
represented, isn't that so cool? Like it's just
Yeah,
like your talent spoke for itself, and then it was like, oh well, if we have no one to call, we're going to call you directly, and you come
yeah,
in. You know what I mean? So that's also really really cool. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
Go ahead, Mom.
I wanted to ask you, especially about pre-show rituals. Is
Okay.
that
Yeah.
something that helps you lock in? Do you have a ritual that helps you lock in and own the stage?
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Yeah. I mean, I am a very habitual person, right? So
Okay.
I have an exact way that I like to do my pre-show. So I will show up to the theater about an hour and a half before showtime. I will
Uh-huh.
have already eaten like a very satiating, hearty meal. Because, like I said, this role just talks constantly. It's a lot of emotional, physical output the whole time.
Hmm.
So I have to make sure I'm fed. Then I'll get to the theater and I'll just kind of slowly and methodically like put on my makeup and just do it really slowly, gently. I'm trying to like calm my nervous system
Yeah.
Hmm.
because I've been very open about having performance anxiety,
Oh yeah.
and so I have to do a lot of things to prep myself to be as even keel as possible the second I enter that
Hmm.
stage.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the next thing is I will do a nice hearty vocal warm up for about 15 minutes. I'll do it always to the same exact voice memo that our vocal coach sent me. And then I will do a physical warm up. So I'll just make sure that like everything is stretched out, all good to go. Specifically, this show is very hard on the feet, so I'll make sure that's good to go. And
Hmm.
then I will go into hair. So we get our hair done by our head of hair department. That takes about 25 minutes. It's like a very cool, sleek back look. And they pin my small, like little buns down at the back of my head so that it looks like I have a man's haircut.
Okay.
And a man's haircut specifically from the 90s, hello, from the 40s in London. And then after that, I will just kind of sit in my chair. I'll take a
Hmm.
few deep breaths. Then I'll go down to the deck. I'll eat like this Grether's Pastille, which is like a lozenge that helps me stay moist. I'll
Okay.
get on stage. The curtain is down, but the stage is open, and our show specifically starts with me being the only person on stage. I
Oh
start the
wow.
show.
Oh, wow.
So I will never forget the first time I went on. There's this desk that I'm sitting at, and I have to put my feet up on those desks, and I just have a coffee mug in my hand.
Mhm.
And it, you hear like the big like overture, dun, dun, and then I see this big yellow curtain fly out, and then it's just an open swath of audience members, and it's just me.
Yeah.
And what I always say to myself beforehand is, they will love you because I am the host of the show, and Monty is a very conceited, cocky guy. And so I basically have to tell myself, like, hey,
Uh-huh.
this entire audience of 800 people loves you and will only love you more by the end of this show. And that's my pre-show ritual.
That's awesome.
Giving
That
your mind a self-talk.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly
wow.
that.
And you say it out loud. You say the words out loud that they're
Like
going
they
to,
will love you.
so your
heck yeah.
brain will hear you.
Yeah,
I
they
talk
love
out.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely, Jareen, you have been absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you, Brandon.
I don't
Uh-huh.
want to keep holding you up because you've been great. I literally could talk
Wow,
to you all
wow.
day.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Let's see
But what
here.
I'd like to ask her
Yeah, go
one
ahead. Go ahead.
question. What is a skill you wish more young performers would build early? Something that really helps in the long run, because we have a big audience of
Sure.
children, as Brandon mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, but we have about 18.8, how many?
Million. 18.8 million.
Million, yeah. Actually following the show, and it's
Sure.
worldwide. And
Yeah.
so with that, we really want to hear from you as
Mm.
talking to, because we have this young audience as well, a big piece of that dynamic,
Yeah.
that not the dynamics of our show. And so
Yeah.
please share with that group of children, what you think of it
Yeah.
as a
Yes,
performer.
I do also work with a good amount of children. I also coach, and well, first of all, I love working with them because I
Mm-hmm,
feel like I get the chance to undo some of the not so great stuff I received from my own teachers and coaches and all that
Oh, wow.
stuff from
mm-hmm,
junior high and high school. So I always lead with a ton of love, and you know, if I were to say skill sets that I wish I would have had, I would
mm-hmm.
say I wish I had kept up with learning an instrument. I would give anything to
Oh,
be able to pick up a guitar and play it, or sit down at a piano and play it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Brandon, I had a little bit of a different experience than you, where, you said you had your dad who was like, you will not quit. I
Yeah.
actually quit a lot. And
Okay.
I have to be completely honest with you. There were a lot of things that I tried. There were sports that I tried, but because I was larger bodied and I also had undiagnosed asthma and sports were so hard for me, I just would
Yeah.
give up. And my parents would be like, okay, got it. Like I tried
mm-hmm,
basketball, soccer, softball, cheerleading, all until I found singing. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this feels a little bit different. It feels more feasible. So I gave up on a lot of things that I wish I had stuck with. I wish I
Yeah.
had stayed in dance classes, because to this day, that is one of the skills that I struggle with the most. And I would be more competitive had I stuck with it.
Yeah.
So
mm-hmm.
to any of the young listeners, I will say, if you have something that you're working on now, say you're taking voice lessons or you're in dance classes or you're working on an instrument, it may hard for you after those school days want to go to those lessons, because I know you're
Mm-hmm.
exhausted. I'm sure you have homework. I'm sure you want to hang out with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you will probably never regret it. Even if you didn't go into this profession,
Yeah.
my grandfather was not a professional singer, but he could pick up the Spanish guitar and he could play and sing these beautiful songs that our whole family would chime in
Mm-hmm.
on when they were around each other. So just know that any of these skill sets would be beneficial in whatever you went into, and even just as a hobby. And
Yeah.
then the other side of the coin that I will say is, be a real person. Don't make your
Mm-hmm.
whole life, don't make your whole life about becoming a successful
Yeah.
actor, artist, singer, etc. Have
Mm-hmm.
hobbies.
Yeah.
Have it be so that if somebody says to you, what lights you up, what lifts you up, don't
Uh-huh.
have the only answer be, well, when I'm on stage or when I'm on set.
Yeah.
No, have it be when I walk my dog. Have it be when I'm swimming in the ocean. Have passions Because then when you are a holistic person, that's something that people can sense, and that's something that people want and want to work with.
Amen.
Yeah.
Preach, man. Gerianne, I like you.
Thank you.
Seriously, I do. I think what you're saying has been so important. I can tell you're inspiring me even, but it's so important for kids to hear that. As I said, I mentioned earlier how kids are always watching. Also,
Yeah.
what you mentioned earlier, diversity, how important that is. I'm big on that.
So important.
Because my heroes are always my parents, first off.
Sure.
But
Thank
in
you.
the acting world, I never had I didn't see people that looked like me really. They had like four of us. Four of us might have been out there. But I love when Black Panther came out, how that completely changed the game. And at the same time, Crazy Rich Asians came out and changed the game at the same time. And I'm like, both of those
Absolutely.
things. And you saw how proud people were. But here's the part that made me the most proud of everything. During Halloween, I saw white kids dress up as the Black Panther. And that showed that, you know what? Those kids don't know the difference in color. They might not even look that way about things.
That's
I have
true.
nephews and nieces, not by blood, but that are my best
Yeah.
friends are all different races, and I'm their favorite uncle, and they're white and all that
Ghetto.
kind of stuff. So it's important that they all wanted to be the Black Panther, and it's like you
That's
see
beautiful.
you can put everybody up there, give people a shot, let the world see that it has multifaceted and beautiful. And that's another thing I really love about New York. And when I'm in the cast director, tell me we're so big on being diverse in New York because the world is diverse. So if you see our shows, it's
Yeah.
always a diverse cast, which is how the world looks. So
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
I definitely wanted to mention that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can get to the lightning
I'm
round.
going to give you the lightning round. Drink, we're going
Okay.
to have you
Let's do it.
back. Gerianne, sorry. We're
Oh,
going to have you
You
back in the
good?
future. But I'm going
Okay.
to do the lightning round for you
Let's do it.
because you've been wonderful.
Okay. Come on, lightning round.
All
Let's
right.
go. I always have to
Coffee
like
or
buckle up for these.
yes. Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Coffee or
yeah.
tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Um, pre-show hype song right now.
It's like it's this new song by Muna. It's like Dancing on the Wall. They just released it, but it's just such a bop and it's got 80s like inspiration.
Oh
It's
heck yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
Something
Um,
on a Wall. You find it.
all
Yeah.
right. I'll look it up. Favorite NYC comfort food?
Oh God. Okay. So there's this place called Culture Espresso, and they have a cookie about as big as my face, chocolate chip, and it
Yeah.
is perfect. It is the best cookie in New York City with like a little bit of like sea salt. It's without flaw.
Mm.
I'm gonna go check that
Yep.
spot out then for sure.
Yeah.
A Puerto Rican dish that feels like home.
Oh my gosh, arroz con pollo. Yeah. And then it's just rice and chicken. It's yellow rice and
Okay.
chicken. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Or my mom will do something where she puts like it's arroz con gandules and it's like these like really yummy peas that'll get cooked into the yellow rice. It's without flaw.
Mm.
That and plátanos, which are sweet plantains.
Ooh,
Mm.
pretty delicious.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any Puerto Rican restaurants so I can check out in New York?
We have not, my mom and I have not successfully been able to find one
Ah,
just yet. We have found really great Latinx restaurants that are
yeah.
delicious, but they're not exactly her spices. So when she
Okay.
comes here, she cooks for me because we can't find something exactly dead on the money.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds good. First Broadway show you ever saw, or the one that changed you the most? It could be both if you want to.
Yeah, no, I'll say, I mean, it was really, really impactful. It was Hair. I saw it my freshman year of college. That was my first Broadway show. And it was so amazing. And also they had this moment at the end of the show where they would bring some audience members up on stage.
Oh
So I
wow.
literally got to go up on stage
Oh,
and dance and sing
Heck
along
yeah.
with the hippies. So yeah, it
That's
was,
awesome.
yeah.
And then was there a role that changed you too, by chance?
I would say that would be a little bit closer to when I saw Oliver. That was when I was about 13 years old in Massachusetts. I was in middle school. And that was the first time I think I had seen a large performance on that scale. And I just remember seeing this beautiful woman playing Nancy sing As Long as He Needs Me with so much grit and heart and hunger. And I was like, Mom, I want to do that. I want to be like her someday.
mm.
So that's the one that really shaped me at a young age.
Heck yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dream role you would say yes to immediately.
Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
She's just
Uh,
she's so savvy. She's so smart. Like I don't know if I'm right for the role, but I love her so much. And when I see the show, she
Hmm.
means so much to me. So that's I just love her so much. Yeah.
I love that. One of my goals is to play Hercules Mulligan on Broadway with her.
Yes. It's
So
so good.
yeah. Let's see here. Dream role. Oh, sorry. Role that scared you before you took it.
This one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Monty in Operation Mincemeat. Just because I would not consider myself a great comedian. That if somebody were to say like what are your strongest things, comedy wouldn't be what I said.
Really? Yeah.
And so this is a comedic show. If we ever get you into New York and we bring you to the show, you'll see it's slapstick the whole time. So I had to completely get out of my head and into my body and just let
Yeah.
my literal freak flag fly in this role.
Okay.
And that is what scared me the most, was not being this kind of moderated, postured person. No, it is just loose and out there
Okay.
and brave.
Well,
Yep.
I'll check it out in April. I'll be back up in
Same.
April. I'm doing some work down here right now.
Okay, amazing. Sure.
But I'll be back in New York. Uh,
Cool.
let's see here. Go-to vocal warm-up you swear by. I'm gonna need this one personally for myself too. But go-to vocal warm-up you swear by.
I like this one. Am I going to sing it at you?
Feel free to.
Yeah, like I love this one that my voice coach Matt Farnsworth gives me, which is it's just go on a scale. It's go 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 go, and just stretching it all the way up. It just like I
Yeah.
don't know. It creates space, and it just like gets me pumped and ready. Yeah, and
Okay, and then
singing
that
to the
helps out.
stratosphere.
The reason I asked, well, it's in the book, but the reason I asked that, you don't, the amount of roles I have to yell for, and I'm talking like over maybe
Oh.
my last one I did, it was Outer Banks. I had to yell at like 1,000 people. So,
Oh,
yeah,
sure. So that's like you're really having it like use your breath support and not like shout like from the throat, but it's
that's what I
like
do. That's the
that's the
problem.
oh, okay. Then that yeah, you'll give yourself laryngitis like that. But I would say like as a big tip, like if you have to do shouting or you're yelling or something like that, you
Yeah,
need to
Hmm.
feel as if you tank up from like the lowest part of your belly to then
Hmm.
propel that sound forward. Because if it's just coming from here
yeah.
and it's
Hmm.
just shallow breath, you're gonna tank your voice.
I'm gonna need
Yeah,
that. I'm gonna have to talk to you about your vocal coach because I'm gonna have to work on
of
that. 'Cause
course.
that's right up my. That's literally everything I do a lot of
I hear if
times.
you do a lot of
Hmm.
shouting, I totally
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
All right. Favorite thing about being on stage?
The applause.
Oh.
It's really nice. I don't know. It's just it's so wonderful. Like because when you're on set, you can't hear people's reaction. You can't hear if you're affecting people. But what with a live audience, I know I just made them laugh. I know that I just gave so much to them, and they are
Mhm.
giving back to me by this sound of applause. It's this synergistic like energy
Mhm.
thing of
Yeah.
saying like I got you, you got me, and we're here in this together. It's like all of us are a part of making this show.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah. And you deserve it too.
thank you.
Hardest part of the job people don't see.
I would say the hardest part of the job, two things, are the politics that go on behind the scenes that you can't speak about because you're always under contract to never in any way disparage any show that you are ever employed in. So it's about sometimes having to deal with disappointment or rejection or hardship or frustration, but not always being able to be vocal about it
Mhm.
because you can't. So
Yeah.
I would say sometimes the politics of what goes on behind the scenes, and that's in any
Yep.
aspect of this profession.
Mhm.
And then I would say the hardest thing that people don't see is the physical toll it takes to do 8 shows a week all in a row. Like we only get one day off, right? So Monday is the day off, but then the rest of the time we're doing all of these shows. So there's
Mhm.
there's physical, there's bodily and vocally a lot of duress that we have to work through almost as sort of athletes in order to keep up and do this safely and also do a show that's worthy of presenting, that's worthy of people paying a Broadway price for.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that because I've always wanted the thing for me, and this is gonna sound silly, is the bathroom part. Because I'm like, man, because I'm like, how do I plan my eating schedule to make sure that like I never have to sick or bathroom, anything like that. So or not
Absolutely.
drinking enough water. Like when I'm on set a
Yeah.
lot of times, I don't drink water because I don't want to have to use the bathroom because I don't know how long
Oh,
we're gonna there might not be a
No, I
bathroom
totally
near.
understand. Yeah.
So
No, I
yeah,
hear you.
that's
Your body kind of acclimates,
yeah,
I will
okay.
say. Yeah,
I'm just always curious about that.
for sure.
Most underrated skill for performers.
Kindness. I think that everybody cares just so much about talent. And it's like,
mhm,
but who do you bring in a room? And are
Yeah.
you kind to
mhm,
people? And do you ask people their names? Do you ask them
mhm,
how they're doing? And do you actually care about the answer?
Yeah.
I think that's like the just the biggest thing is, and
mhm,
it's so oftentimes we like forget that it's important to interact. And I'm an
mhm,
introvert, so I have to say that a lot of physical interactions with people, they cost me something, right? Because it's
Yeah.
output.
mhm.
But it matters because I do know that it's necessary for everybody in our building to know that they matter to me.
Mhm.
And so I would just say that's probably most underrated is just be a
Love
kind
that.
person and also be
Mhm.
punctual. My gosh, be punctual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually a great life skill for outside the world too that a lot of people need to
Everywhere.
know. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Comedy or drama?
Drama. No,
Okay.
drama. Yeah, like if I have to choose a show I'm watching, it's going to be like Bridgerton, which isn't always funny, but it's
Yeah.
sometimes funny. I don't know. Dramedy. We'll do it
Okay,
both.
yeah, drama in the mixture. Big belting moment or a quiet acting moment?
Big belting moment.
Okay.
It just feels euphoric. I have to
Yeah.
say. I mean, as far if you're asking me what I'm if I'm doing it, yeah, I think it just feels like it's just such a release. It's so much coming out of you
Mhm.
that it just you when you're finished with it, you're like, oh, I've worked my butt off. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It just feels euphoric in the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite city you have toured in?
Such a great question because
All
I've
Mama
toured
Russian these
twice.
questions. Mama Rush is a
So,
question queen.
yeah, no, I mean, I loved Chicago and I loved New Orleans.
They're both nice.
Yes, I will have to
Mhm. They are
say,
both nice.
yeah, those were great ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hotel must have on the road.
On the road, we have to have some Tupperware in order to heat up some of our food.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
then also my vocal steamer. That is essential whether I'm here in New York or on tour as a vocal steamer.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to say that I've been very blessed with my mom because I travel a lot for work. My mom is, they give me a hotel. I'm like, if I'm not going to be in it, mom, do you want to come? So my mom's traveled with me a lot for places I filmed
Nice.
at. And she always
Awesome.
brings her pizza cooker that cooks the food for the
That's
room.
incredible. That's amazing. Yeah, my mom got me like a hot plate and stuff like that. Like it's resourceful for sure.
Yeah, it is. So I was thinking about that. A word you want more of in your life this year. A word that you want more of in your life this year.
Well, my word for 2026, so I'll
Okay.
go with that is bravery.
Yeah.
I think that last year I thought I was being brave, but I think in a lot of facets of life I was playing it safe and I didn't know. But we are now in the was it the year of the horse? We're done with the year of the snake, so we're shedding. And
Yeah.
I am absolutely going to try to be as brave and ambitious in a way that's not ruthless this
Yeah.
year. But I am going to be like unabashedly making things happen for myself this year.
Heck yeah. I believe in you and I
Yeah.
know you can do it.
Thank you.
Um, a word you want less of in your life this year.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's such a good question, but I'm trying to think of like a word that I hear often that I just don't want to. Let's just nix rejection. Hate
Okay.
that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
amen. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Um, a Broadway dream collaboration, composer, director, choreographer, or co-star. So someone that it could be any of those that whatever you want decide you want to say how
Oh
you can
my
do it.
goodness. Well, I mean, I would love to be in anything that Lin-Manuel wrote, but
Yeah.
More
Mm-hmm.
also, I would really love to work with Sarah Bareilles again. She
Mm-hmm.
she wrote the music for Waitress, and then she
Okay.
starred in Waitress when it came back after the pandemic on Broadway. So I got to work with her again. And I
Mm-hmm.
just now at this phase in my life, I would like to work with her again because I feel like I'm so much more rooted in my artistry and authenticity that I'd give anything to. She puts her whole soul into the music that she writes. She's just prolific. She's an absolute genius, and she's so brave that I would love to work with her again. And then as far as an actor that I'd love to work with, I'd really love to work with Joshua Henry again. I got to briefly work with him also at Waitress, but again, I just felt like I was a bit of a baby, and
Yeah.
I would love to work with these people at this new era of my life.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you text me the name of that. I think you said her name was Sarah. Is that correct?
Sarah Bareilles, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try and because I'd like to have her on the show, and I'm trying to get Lynn Well on the show as well.
Oh, amazing.
Got to reach
Yeah,
out to him.
yeah.
Finish this. I feel most powerful when I.
I feel most powerful when I don't give a shit. Like when I just like when I am just not trying to be what anybody wants me to be, and I am
Yeah.
just like gonna have fun and throw something at the wall.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, Gerianne Perez, you have been
Yes.
absolutely
You
outstanding. I know Mom's going to have some closing words too for you, but
Please.
where can people follow you and keep up with your upcoming projects?
Sure, sure. So I'm quite active on both my Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to launch like do YouTube stuff. But as far as Instagram, my handle is Gerianne.Perez. Yes, I don't need to spell that for y'all. And that's where y'all can find me. And I also have a website,
Okay.
GeriannePerez.com.
Okay, perfect. Any shout outs or thank yous you want to give before we wrap up?
I would like to thank y'all so much for having me on
You're
here.
welcome.
And
oh,
there was this podcast interview that I did that my parents kind of called me out for because they said I painted them to be too strict and not supportive. So I'm gonna
oh,
flip the coin and I'm gonna
okay.
say this is a shout out and a thank you to my parents. And I would not be where I am today without
Oh,
their support and all of their sacrifice. And even though they lit a fire under my ass, they are the reason I am who I am today.
oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's wonderfully said. And the one thing I want to say in closing, I want our audience to remember one thing about you, Jerry. And what would that one thing you want worldwide? Because we reach worldwide, 900 cities. Not to put you on the screen big time, but
Okay.
what do you want that one thing to be that our audience remembers about you today and forever?
Can I say two things?
Yes, you can.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Say
My
two
one
things.
thing is, yes, my one thing is transparency, right? Like I haven't filtered myself at all here today, and transparency and honesty about how you feel and what matters to you
Uh-huh.
is most important. And
Okay.
then the other thing that I will say is it is not always easy to do this in these times, and I have to consistently remind myself, but I hope that people can hear it in my voice that I choose to lead with love in
Oh,
nearly everything I do.
oh,
And again, even in these very, very hard, scary worldwide times, as best we can connect with each other and lead with love.
oh,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. Well,
Jerry, sorry, one more question for you. If you could
Yes.
go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be?
You're going to make it. I know you're really, really, really scared and you're hoping for some kind of proof that it's going to happen for you, but you don't need to know this at this time, but it's going to happen. And you're going to
Amen.
be really, really shocked at what happens for your life.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Jerry Ann Perez, you've been absolutely amazing. We thank you so much for just taking the time out of your day to come on. We love
Of course.
talking to you. You're always welcome back
mm,
anytime you'd
Thank you
like. You
so
just send me a
much.
message, and you
Of
keep killing
course.
it. And don't change for anybody because you're doing it. You're doing just fine.
Thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Well, we give
And
everyone a round
then,
of
Jerry,
applause.
we're going to
Sorry.
give you that one thing that you love the most on stage. You ready, Brandon? Applause.
Bravo! Hey, Jerry, hold on. I wish I had a bouquet of flowers to throw you, but I don't.
I'll take it. I'll take
Love
it.
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day. And then send me the
Awesome.
photo you want to use for your podcast station. I have it done in a couple hours.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll get that to you ASAP.
All right. You have a
All right.
wonderful day. You're absolutely outstanding.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
outstanding. I love her.
Take care. Yes,
Bye,
ma'am.
y'all.
Bye. She was wonderful, Mom.